Good morning, friends. I am back in the kitchen. We're safe from the hurricane. It didn't even come our way after all. So I'm fixing to make a cake that I told y'all about. Now, when I was growing up, there was a little country preacher that pastored a church, probably 20 miles from me at Romare, and they had three daughters, Jodina, Maydina, and Ouida. And they were probably 8 or 10 years older than me. So as a kid, I remember seeing them around town, and they were always together, almost like triplets, but they weren't. And I don't think they were. Anyway, I just remember we called them the Nightingales. And we knew them from going to the church occasionally and all. But anyway, they're older than me, grown and have their own lives. But anyway, one of them, Ouida, has a wonderful pound cake recipe. So a mutual friend of ours gave me Sister Ouida's pound cake recipe, so I'm going to make it today and share it with y'all. And you'll have a new pound cake to make, to put you some strawberries and cream or some ice cream on. So y'all come on over here and I will get to the mixer. We're not going to go to the butcher block. Actually, I've got my tube pan over here at the butcher block, and I'm going to spray it with Baker's Joy. Baker's Joy is my new best friend. I don't have to get the Crisco out and grease my pan and then flour it. This has your flour and your oil in it. So I'm just going to spray my pan real good with Baker's Joy and get it ready. And we're going to get over to the KitchenAid mixer and mix up our cake. And then you start it in a cold oven and set your oven on 350, and then you'll cook the cake until it's completed. So I will get you over to the mixer and we'll get busy. Into my mixing bowl, I have 3 sticks of butter and 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese, and they're all at room temperature. A little further over here, I have 6 eggs, and they are at room temperature. Then we're going to need 3 cups of sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, and 3 cups of cake flour. If you don't have cake flour in your cabinet, to make cake flour from all-purpose flour, you take 1 cup of all-purpose flour and you measure out 2 tablespoons. And you replace those 2 tablespoons with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and whisk it and mix it really well, and that makes a cup of cake flour. I'm going to get the cream cheese and the butter mixed up together really well, and then we'll start adding our sugar and our eggs and then our flour. Okay, because that was at room temperature, it blended really quickly. So I'm going to add all of my sugar. Okay, I'm going to add my teaspoon of vanilla. Normally, you would add your eggs now and whip them in, but the recipe says to alternate flour and 2 eggs. Flour and 2 eggs. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it according to the recipe. This is really similar. That's a little over a teaspoon, but I like vanilla, so I'm not going to worry about it. This is very similar in contents to my millionaire pound cake that I make. Okay, let me make sure I've got it scraped down really well, and I'm starting to add the flour and eggs. I like this scraper that's on the side of my beater here. That helps a little bit. Okay, I'm going to crack my eggs in a separate bowl over here because they're my eggs from my hens, and I just want to be sure that everything's good. And let me tell you, they're great big old eggs. There's 1, 2, And I'm going to whiz those a little bit, and then I'm going to add a little bit of the flour, and I'll keep alternating until I get it all done. Don't that yellow look pretty? I just love yard eggs because the yellow is always dark. I have my flour here, and I'm just going to add about a cup. I guessed it just about right. Because there's no leavening in here other than the eggs, you want to beat it pretty good after each one. So there's one. Okay, I'm mixing that egg in a little bit, and then I'm going to add flour. Putting my hand up to shield it because it was flying out a little bit. I'm going to whip that for about a minute, and then I'm going to add the rest of it. Okay, the last 2 eggs are going in. And the last of the flour. Okay, I'm going to scrape it down, and then I'm just going to let it run for a couple of minutes to make sure that it's all beat up real good. Incorporated, and it has all the air whipped into it that it needs. I know when Mama's pound cake, she would always tell me to beat it and beat it and beat it. Well, I had gotten to where I was beating it too much. So I'm not going to beat this too much. I'm just going to beat it enough to make sure it's all incorporated well, and then we'll get it in the pan. Okay, I've got it all beat, and I'm going to scrape these beaters. Now, if my kids were little, they would say, save some for us, because they like to lick the beater. And you know, it never killed them. It had raw egg in it. Some of these people that's making all these new rules didn't live as a child, I don't think. Get all of this off. Alrighty, I'll meet y'all over at the butcher block. Alrighty folks, let's just get this in the pan. Life's funny. When I was a kid, I never thought that one day I would be cooking one of the Nightingale's recipes. We just learn a lot as we grow up, don't we? Alright, I'm going to shake it, then I'm going to drop it to get the air out of it. And I'm going to put it in a cold oven and turn my oven on 350. And I'm going to let it cook, let me see how long. Okay, y'all, look. We have got a gorgeous pound cake. And you can see it's already been being sampled. And it's got big old thumbs up. And I was just going to show you all of what we did here. Isn't that pretty? Sister Ouida gave us a delicious pound cake recipe, let me tell you. Y'all need to put this in your little book, and you need to put it in a pan in the oven and put it on a cake plate and cut it and serve it and put it in your mouth. That will be delicious. Thank y'all so much for coming and visiting with me in the kitchen today and watching while I made this delicious pound cake. Let me just tell y'all, that block of cream cheese in it kicks it up a notch. It makes the texture wonderful. The taste is deep and rich and good, but it's not overpoweringly sweet. It's different. It's very good. So y'all get you a bundt pan and all the goodies and make you a Sister Ouida's pound cake and let me know how you like it. The good Lord bless and keep y'all. Thanks for every one of y'all that contacted me to see how we were doing and if and how we made it through the storm. And you know by now from my videos that it jiggled to the east a little bit and we didn't get any of it. So I'll be back in a day or two with something else going on in the kitchen. Y'all come on back, visit with me.